at this point I have all of my sleep system in my backpack. And so let me show you what that looks like. It's a little difficult to see with all the black plastic, but you can see my sleeping bag, my down pants, and my sleeping clothes down there, stuffed at the very bottom. So there is one other category of item that I put in the bottom of my backpack, and that is power or batteries. And so I have a power bank, and I have a spare battery for my headlamp, and I have USB cables. So with this power bank, I'm recharging my phone, I'm recharging my inReach. I can recharge my headlamp if I want, or if I need to, if I've already gone through my spare battery. So of course, the capacity of the battery that you bring depends upon how long you're out, how much power you use during the day. But these three things I bring with me on every trip, and they have their own waterproof bag. And you'll notice this one's yellow. I'm a little weird like that. I use gray for all of my critical items that are like absolutely life-saving or need to be dry. And I have yellow for power and light. So anyway, you don't have to do that. Let me get this closed up. Put that down there. All right, now it's time for my favorite topic, and that is food. So, storing food. Some people prefer Ursacks, some people prefer bear cans. I prefer bear cans only because I spend a lot of time above tree line, and so I don't want to have to worry about what am I going to attach my Ursack to. And I realize that a bear can takes up a lot of room in my backpack, and it doesn't compress as I consume the food, but I like the peace of mind where I don't have to worry about where am I going to put it, what does the national park or the Forest Service require, and what does the jurisdiction require. I just bring a bear can and I don't have to worry about it. So, food. I have, like I said, I'm packing for a 2-night trip, so I have 2 dinners. Of course, this is such a personal thing. The only suggestion I have is that pick something that you like, that you've tried before, you like it, and that gives you enough calories. For me, I like dinners that are somewhere between 7 to 900 calories for dinner. So got those 2. And then for breakfast, I like scrambled eggs. Again, you bring what you like. For lunch, I bring tortillas with almond butter. I don't bring tortillas on longer trips because they're not very calorie dense. But for a short weekend trip, that's fine. Here's my almond butter. I love Justin's just because it's self-contained. Yeah, you'll notice I'm putting these Justin's almond butter packets in their own Ziploc. And I do that with everything that I put in my bear can. Everything has its own plastic bag because if it's raining, rain will get in the bear can. If it's snowing, you can get snow inside the bear can. So you should just assume that the inside of your food storage device is going to get wet. And so I don't want, so I want to protect the things that are in there from getting wet. So that's why I put everything in a plastic bag. So I also enjoy trail mix, and critical item for me, coffee in the morning. I use Starbucks Via. Of course, you pick what you like. All right. Now, one thing, this particular package of scrambled eggs has a lot of air in it. And so you'll see this a lot where you have these freeze-dried meals that take up a lot of space. So, for a 2-night trip, it doesn't matter so much. But if you're on a big extended trip where you don't have a lot of space in your bear can and you need to be super efficient with packing it, I will often empty each of these into their own quart-size Ziploc freezer bag. And then when you're in the backcountry, you can pour boiling water directly into that Ziploc freezer bag, rehydrate your food, and it takes up a lot less space than this. But for this 2-night trip, it doesn't really matter. Now, after dinner, I like to have an after dinner drink that is hot. And particularly when I'm winter camping, because I'm about to crawl into a sleeping bag on top of the snow. It's cold, and so I like to try to get my body core temperature up by having hot chocolate. Now, you may prefer tea, you may prefer decaf coffee, heck, you may prefer caffeinated coffee, but something that's hot is really important. And then I also put my spoon inside my bear can, only because the spoon is really long and the bear can accommodate it. Now, other scented items need to go in the bear canister as well. Medication, toothpaste, toothbrush. I used to have this super tiny toothbrush where you'd have to hold it with your thumb and your index finger. And I realized that, well, heck, I'm winter camping. I have to remove my gloves to do this. That just doesn't work for winter camping. So I carry the extra, 0.25 ounces, and I have a normal toothbrush. And then finally, I have a trash bag, and this is just for my empty freeze-dried food containers. Any trash goes in this. It's just a 1-liter Ziploc freezer bag, and that goes in the top. And I close this up. Now, I don't bother to lock my bear canister when it's in my backpack because there's just no point. But as soon as I arrive in camp and I have placed my bear canister outside where critters can get to it, the first thing I do is I lock up the bear can. So let me put this in here. So let me show you what this looks like. You see the very shiny top of the bear can, and on top of my sleep system that's buried underneath it. And this is going to be a really nice shelf for me to put other things on top of.